You ever see something on Temu and just wonder how it's even possible? I mean, how can a company sell you a gadget for just a few bucks, ship it from the other side of the planet, and still make any money? Well, the answer isn't just one thing. It's this incredibly fast, kind of brutal logistics engine that has completely rewritten the rules. So let's pull back the curtain and really dissect this terrifyingly efficient machine.
Right. This is the big question, isn't it? It feels like it shouldn't work. But this isn't some kind of magic trick. It's the result of a system that has just methodically erased every single step we thought we knew about the retail supply chain. And today, we're going to follow the data and the logistics to figure out exactly how they pull it off. Okay, so the first piece of this whole puzzle is actually pretty brilliant. You see, Temu's biggest innovation isn't what it has, it's what it doesn't have. Forget about those giant warehouses you see in your country or those massive distribution centers. They've basically made the warehouse invisible by just skipping it entirely.
So how in the world do they do that? Well, a huge piece of the answer comes down to this really powerful trade law loophole. It's called the de minimis rule. See, normally, companies have to pay these massive import taxes when they bring in giant shipping containers full of stuff. But by shipping tiny individual packages directly to you, the consumer, most of those packages fall below the dollar amount where you have to pay import duties. It's like a system-level hack that saves them an absolute fortune.
But for that whole direct shipping thing to work, you need one thing above all else: speed. And this is where the logistics partnerships are just absolutely key. Through these high-frequency air freight deals, they have literally turned the Pacific Ocean into a giant, non-stop conveyor belt. Your package gets sorted in China, put on a plane, and lands just a short hop away from your front door.
And this slide really just lays it all out side by side. On one hand, you've got the old way of doing things. Slow, expensive ships, huge warehouses filled with products that, might not even sell. And that's a massive financial risk. Then you look at Temu's model. It's lean, it's fast, and this is the most important part. There is zero inventory risk for the platform itself. And that right there brings us to the next critical piece of the puzzle.
So shipping things fast is one thing, but the part that is truly revolutionary is how these products are even being made in the first place. This isn't about some designer in an office guessing what you might want to buy in 6 months. No, this is about knowing what you want right now, thanks to a really powerful data loop.
The whole thing is powered by a model called C2M, which stands for consumer to manufacturer. The easiest way to think about it is like manufacturing in reverse. Instead of a company deciding what to make, your data, your searches, your clicks, what you're looking at, all of that information is fed directly to the factories. It just completely cuts out all the guesswork. And this connection is unbelievably direct. Let's say you search for, a portable phone stand. That little bit of data, that signal is instantly analyzed and shot out to a whole network of competing factories. One of them will whip up a small test batch. If that starts to sell, even just a few units, the algorithm gives it the green light and boom, production scales up almost instantly. You, the person searching, have just become a part of the manufacturing process. So here's why this is such a game changer. This model completely eliminates what traditional retailers fear the most, something they call the inventory graveyard. Those giant warehouses just full of stuff that nobody bought, products that have to be sold at a massive discount or just thrown out, costing companies billions. By only making what people are already searching for, Temu just sidesteps that entire problem. But you have to wonder, right? All of this incredible efficiency, all these cost savings, it has to come from somewhere. And the reality is, this hyper-efficient machine creates an insane pressure cooker environment. And the ones feeling all of that heat, it's the suppliers. It's the thousands of factories all competing inside this system. And I mean, just look at how the risk is divvied up here. The risk of having inventory that doesn't sell, that's all on the supplier. Quality control? Well, the platform makes the rules, but the supplier has to eat the entire cost if a product fails. Shipping deadlines? The supplier absolutely has to hit them or they face penalties. So Temu aggregates all the demand, but it systematically pushes nearly all of the operational and financial risk onto its partners. And believe it or not, it gets even more intense. This whole thing operates inside what is basically a digital arena. There's an algorithm that is constantly watching every single supplier, judging their price, their speed, their quality. The ones that are fastest and cheapest get promoted. But if you're too slow, if you get a couple of bad reviews, or if you just can't meet the price demands, you get punished. Sometimes you even get shadow banned from the platform. It is a brutal, real-time selection of the fittest. Okay, so let's zoom out. This high-velocity model is, undeniably effective, but it's also incredibly fragile. It's a really high-stakes gamble that pretty much depends on a perfect storm of global conditions to keep running. So the big question is, can it actually last?
Well, you can start to see some potential cracks forming in the engine. For one, you've got regulatory threats. Governments are starting to take a very close look at that de minimis loophole. Then there's the environmental cost. The impact of flying millions of individual packages across the globe is just massive. And finally, the whole thing is economically fragile. The model is super sensitive to things like rising fuel costs or labor demands. Any one of those things could throw a real wrench in the works.
Which really leaves us with this one last thought. We've seen how this machine works. It's terrifyingly efficient, it's driven by data, and it creates enormous pressure. It delivers products faster and cheaper than anything we've ever seen before. But it forces us to ask a really important question. In a system where speed and price are the only things that truly matter, what are we really paying for? What is the true cost?